artist features.
It's one thing that we wanted to introduce in this episode and throughout the podcast. That is something called as artist features. Artist features is where we feature artists, as the name suggests, and it's going to be a pedestal for the artist where we introduce them as a person. We come to know about their history. We come to know about what they like, what they don't like, not in terms of Tinder, but in terms of music. So everything related to music is what we're going to talk about over here. What influenced them? How did they come up to getting to the stage that they are in? And we're going to feature their latest release or their latest songs over here on Billboard 86. And the first person and the man who gave a halo to the lockdown, that is Rohit Arun, who's also known by his stage name or artist name as Echoes from Infinity, is here. And Rohit, why don't you introduce yourself to us?
Hey Dennis, thank you so much for having me. First of all, it's a really big pleasure to be here. And so Echoes from Infinity is I'm a multi-instrumentalist, a composer, producer, and I mix and master my own songs, do my own visuals and things like that. So I have a very DIY process being an independent artist.
Mm-hmm. So you are a DIY artist, I know. But Daniel Bedingfield is one guy who also started from home, and he made it big. He has a sister called as Natasha Bedingfield. She's also pretty famous, and but that's about it. So getting back to the topic.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah, you should actually. The music is pretty good, and it's like dope. So, but it's old. It's like from back in the days. So
yeah, I listen to stuff from back in the day, man.
Yeah. So what was your influence from back in the days? Like, how did you come about and how did you start?
So I started learning the keyboard when I was 8.
Yeah.
I learned some basic music theory on it. Mm-hmm. But then as my taste diversified and I got into a lot of rock and metal music, I picked up the guitar. Mm-hmm. And that's been my primary instrument ever since. I've been playing it for a good 10 years now. And so, along those lines, I grew up listening to and loving a variety of genres. So I would listen to everything from the likes of Hans Zimmer, John Williams, to Linkin Park, to Metallica and Iron Maiden, which is a pretty wide list.
Right.
Creatively, Linkin Park is the band that sort of helped me bring these different elements together and come up with my own sound. Mm-hmm. Besides them, a lot of modern rock bands that I see doing really well, like Bring Me the Horizon and Starset, ones that everyone should check out for a nice blend of genres. So anyone who's doing something fresh and groundbreaking is definitely an inspiration to me.
Mm-hmm. Wow! You gave me a speech, man. That was amazing. I just wanted to listen to it over and over again. Anyways, so what
you're just really good with when you love something so much, it just comes to you naturally, I guess.
Yes, you are right. So you released your album Sonic Station, and I know that it has got 25,000 plus plays. If I'm not wrong.
Yep.
So how has this journey been for you?
Yeah. So so the thing is, even though I've been playing music for quite a while now, I properly started producing my music only around 2017. Okay. When I was in my 11th and 12th grade. Mm-hmm. I put together my first album, actually. It was called Boundless Enigma, which everybody can check out on all streaming platforms.
Yeah.
It primarily featured an electronic rock sound. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was a humble first album. It wasn't like a grand thing or anything. It was good. It was a great first album. Yeah. And mainly it was a blueprint for what would later become, my sound. I shaped my sound very well on that album, I feel.
Okay.
So as far as numbers go, the album didn't do that well. But I'm still very proud of it. So, after the first album, I then decided to build up on that sound and add some more elements to my mix and, even start spinning some stories around my instrumentals and make something that sounds really grand, something that's really larger than life.
Yeah.
So something that contains all of the styles of music that I've grown up loving that I listed, from rock to hip hop to soundtracks and electronic music, all rolled into one giant experience.
Right.
That eventually became my second studio album, Sonic Stations, which
Right.
took me around a year to make. And, I just released it 4 months back. It came out on the 15th of May this year. So
Yeah.
you can check it out. It also paints the story, the album conceptually is about something that really interests me, which is
Hmm.
the creation, existence, and the end of the known universe. The album, it really paints these themes in a really, colorful way, which was really fun for me and at the same time a really enormous task. And it's also, like you said, it's been my most successful work so far with, over 25,000 streams on Spotify altogether for the album, and over 10,000 streams for, songs like Oblivion.
Okay.
So that's something that I'm really proud about. And I hope people listen to it and, really experience it in its entirety from start to finish.
Wow. So
Yeah.
you've been you've started on your own. You've done your own DIY stuff, and you've reached to 25,000 plays. And there is this song called Oblivion that is crossed 10,000 plays. Or
Yeah. It's
that's
basically like a blend of, it's a blend of metal, it's a blend of trap music, which is very popular these days. And it's also a blend of some orchestral music too. There's a lot of use of violins in this song. So it's really crazy actually. If you listen to it, it just goes places. It starts in a place and it ends in an entirely different place. A lot of stuff happens in between. It's a bonkers song.
all right. That sounds interesting, man. I have not heard that song because I have been lost in the song that you released recently, that is Afterglow. But before we go into Afterglow, what do you say? What is your musical influence? So let's say, who is the artist that influenced you the most?
Like I said, like, Linkin Park was one that really lit me up as a kid because of my way of blending genres, which is
Yeah.
something that they do as well. 7 albums in, they have really defined themselves as being something that's entirely unique given the current scene, and they always find a way to do something unique. So, all of the members of that band are really creative, but the person that really always stood out to me was obviously Mike Shinoda, and Chester Bennington, who was the vocalist. He was a great vocalist. He was my most favorite vocalist.
Hmm.
And Mike Shinoda, for the reason that it is, I'm a producer who
Hmm.
also likes to blend a lot of genres, and he, primarily being a hip hop artist himself, but he still, finds his ways of writing great metal riffs. And on their album, The Hunting Party, a lot of the songs that were a lot of the heaviest songs on that album were basically riffs that Mike came up with. He's, basically known as the rapper. And it's crazy to fathom something like that. A rapper coming up with some really great metal riff is something that's unheard of. So things like that. And, that's just on a creative sense. The way I work with music is something that Linkin Park really inspired me to do. And,
Yeah.
on a more intricate level, I would say, about my guitar playing and my style of guitar playing. Um, James Hetfield from Metallica,
Hmm.
Dave Mustaine from Megadeth. A lot of these metal bands, a lot of these rhythm guitarists
Hmm.
who, create some of the most intricate riffs to play. So these are some of my most primary influences. And, Hans Zimmer's compositions. I mean, we've all grown up watching, a lot of movies. I'm a big movie buff.
Yeah.
My favorite director is Christopher Nolan, and that's how I got introduced to Hans Zimmer, obviously through the Batman trilogy, the Dark Knight trilogy,
Yes.
and till date that remains one of my most special, memorable things I've heard. So that really lit me up, and that really
Yeah.
reflects in my compositions as well.
Yeah, Hans Zimmer has been synonymous with like really great music, and even I love his music, man.
Yeah,
It's something like it's very
it's
rare
some,
when it's very
yeah,
rare where you say that where people say actually it's famous among people also, like general people as well,
yeah,
because
exactly.
it's very rare that when you say I love the OST or I love the theme of
True,
this.
because a lot of people don't really, you wouldn't expect a lot of people to dive deep into all these things, explore the soundtracks of movies. Yeah, people just generally enjoy movies and leave it at that,
Yeah,
which is great. It's because it is meant to be this complete cinematic experience. But
yeah,
if you're one that's really, if you can identify the part that, the segment of the movie, the layer of the movie that really amplified things for you, amplified the experience for you, it would definitely come down to the music. And, people exploring that is really great, because it really does. Hans Zimmer's soundtracks really do create a tone. They create an atmosphere. And he's done such a variety of things. Like a lot of times people would associate movie scores with orchestral music. He
Right.
broke those barriers. He now inculcates electronic music and even elements of rock music in his themes. It's just all over the place. So it's,
Yeah.
again, it comes back to the same place that I would like to go to. Like blending genres and just focusing on the experience of things, doing
Right.
everything for the sake of the ultimate result. It doesn't matter what it ends up being. The ultimate result should be an experience, and it should shake people and shape their minds.
Right. You're correct about it. One of the Hans Zimmer songs, with vocals that I remember right now
Mhm.
on the top of my head is the song that Bryan Adams and Hans Zimmer came up for,
Yeah, yeah.
Spirit of the Stallion, right?
That was called Here I Am, right?
Here I am. Yes, that was an amazing song, man,
Yep, that
and
was great.
that was great. So, how about coming back to you? How did you come up to Afterglow, and what was the experience of making Afterglow?
Right. So Afterglow is my newest song. It's
Yeah.
one I released on the 4th of September, a week ago.
Yeah.
It's a very chill and mellow electronic song that's perfect for people to, listen to when they're doing their everyday activities, like studying, whatever, like things that they do normally. It could help liven these things and, like you very beautifully put, add a halo around their lockdown, add a halo around people's lockdown.
Yeah.
So I started working on the song as soon as Sonic Stations came out. It was a
Yeah.
response to me feeling a little worried about how I'm going to be able to sort of make music that's just as grand and flamboyant in its
Hmm.
tone and instrumentation as Sonic Stations was. I also didn't have any of my equipment. I still don't have any of my equipment with me right now. No guitars, no recording equipment, or nothing.
Hmm.
So working without all of those things, felt really scary. Afterglow was sort of just a song that I pushed myself to make and told myself to break out of this fear of not being able to, top myself or be my best version creatively. And that gear needn't necessarily limit the way I make music. Or, I remember one of my favorite guitarists, Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine.
Damn.
Uh, you know, he, uh, which is actually funny coming from him because he's someone who definitely uses a lot of guitar pedals and things like that, effects in his guitar playing. It's a very profound part of his sound.
Yes.
Um, but he said that he once spoke about how gear shouldn't limit your sound. If
Mm.
at all you have a shortage of gear, then
Hmm.
morph your sound to make it sound the best it is. You can always do the best version of something,
Yeah.
regardless of whether or not you are capable, if you're equipped enough to do it. And so the answer was obvious that you can do something like that, and that's what I did. And also about the fear part of it,
Hmm.
because I didn't know whether I could break out of what the success that Sonic Stations had. So the
Yeah.
answer to me was pretty obvious, actually, that not everything needs to be larger than life and tell a larger than life story like Sonic Stations did. Not
Yeah.
everything needs to be on a grand scale. It doesn't need to be a grand space odyssey or whatever, because that's basically what Sonic Stations was. It's a space odyssey.
Yeah.
Sometimes the intimacy and the simplicity of a song and its minimalistic instrumentation can really help strike different emotions in you. It's a
Yeah.
very, Afterglow is a very dramatic song,
Hmm.
and it's just really good to sit back and go within yourself and introspect to. Just play that song and just get lost within this really dreamy soundscape. So
Yeah.
that's basically the aim of Afterglow, and it helped me therapeutically to come out of this fearful zone that I was in.
Yeah, actually, you nailed the theme of the song, and the theme of the song actually comes through to the opposite side, like to the listeners. For me, when I listen to it, that's the feeling that comes. That's why I said, it puts a halo to the lockdown because
Yeah,
it kind of,
it's a beautiful description of that, actually.
well, so what happens is that you forget about other things and you're in a different zone. Like music has that ability, and your music does that. So what's in future, man? There seems to be a lot in store for us. A lot of wonderful music that you're creating. And is there any new collaborations? This is like a journalistic question. आगे क्या
Yeah.
है? So
आगे क्या है? But yeah, it's a very valid question because, it's something that all budding artists do need to think about. Where are you going to be tomorrow? What do you want to see yourself? What sound do you want to see yourself doing? So far, I have a lot of great plans for the future. I
Mhm.
have two more songs lined up for release by the end of this year,
Yeah,
which will be coming out in October and November.
yeah,
Planning not to have any releases in December.
yeah.
So, and then I'm planning to branch out even more with my content and my interaction with my audience so far, and
Hmm.
build an even stronger fan base,
Yeah,
or just build a strong fan base. I wouldn't say a stronger fan base. It's because a fan base is something that needs to be very loyal. It takes time to build. I still haven't built a fan base, so I want to do that. And I also have my first song with vocals lined up for next year, and a lot of grander projects, because I haven't. I am a singer as well, but I haven't sung on any of my songs so far. I am a singer, but I've just started writing lyrics, and there's a lot of cool stuff coming out with regards to that. And you can always keep up with everything I'm doing on Instagram at Echoes from Infinity. I'm very active on that, and I keep posting things I'm working on. And I'll just say, 2020 was a really good start. It was a great start, and I hope 2021 maintains that momentum and builds up further into this journey of Echoes from Infinity I've had so far. That's
yeah. I hope so too. And yeah, if you say that you don't have a fan base, I would say that is wrong. You definitely have started to build a fan base, and
Thank you so much, man.
I'm one of your fans, that's for sure.
Thank you
And
so much. Likewise, likewise. So,
uh,
what you're doing for your, for this community right now, with everything you're doing, with your previous season as well, the HR part of it and the
yeah,
music part of it. The music part of it definitely helps give us all a good platform for us to talk about ourselves and, um, tell other people about, what our process of working is and what our outlook on creativity is.
yeah.
And also the HR thing, because I'm also an engineer, so recruitment is something that's not far away at all, and I would really be able to use some good uh, you know methods and things to learn from, about with regards to that.
Yeah, I hope
Yep.
that that episode helps, and those episodes from HR help, and there will be a lot more episodes coming out. There will be a season two for this also coming out. But at this point, I'm very, very stoked to have you over here on this podcast as the first guest. And why don't we listen to your music right now? The song "Afterglow" from Echoes from Infinity at this point.